What's up, Fabsome besties? This is another random quick crafts video. You requested, we build it. Well, we tried to anyway. Let's just check the old list here. First up is the paperclip from your doll script. Paperclip from my doll script. Oh, I know what you mean. Okay, miniature paperclips coming up. You may have seen pictures of Mini Toya holding a mini Summer and Callie script with a mini paperclip. To make these tiny paperclips, we used silver wire and needle nose pliers. I am running out of silver, but I do have some other fun colors. This is a pretty thin wire, probably about a 24 gauge. The larger the gauge number, the smaller or thinner the wire. So, for example, 16 gauge would be thicker than this. I don't think I'll go any thinner than this. 24 is about right. If your wire is too thin, then it might not hold its shape and your paper clips won't actually work. To make the paper clip, you're going to start at the tip of your needle nose pliers. The skinnier your pliers, the smaller the paper clip you can make. Bend the wire near the end. I'm going to just bend it right over, making a small hook. Go past the hook and you're going to bend the wire the other direction, making a small loop. Go past the end of that and bend it again. Use wire cutters to trim off the excess to make a tiny paperclip. That actually works! Now you can spend the day making a billion miniature paperclips. But now we need somewhere to store them. I'm using a jumbo craft stick, clear plastic from packaging, tape, paint, and hot glue. Cut a thin strip of clear plastic, bend it to make a circle, trim off the excess, use tape to secure the ends, trim off the excess, pour a little gold paint on your palette, push the circle into the paint. I'm going to just spin it around a little bit so the edge is covered. There we go. Set it down carefully and allow it to dry. Make a second one that's a little taller. Take a rectangle of the clear plastic, fold over and crease the sides to make them go up. Put paint on the ends, cut the craft stick, sand the rough edges, paint it white. Let's add a little gray, add some veins, add a few spots, and gold paint on the ends. Use hot glue to glue on the plastic. Once it dries, put the paper clips in the small container. To hide the imperfections of my container, I am just overflowing it with these little paper clips. They're just gonna go everywhere. I'm using a paper cutter to cut paper into tiny squares. These are a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. And I'm just gonna stack them together, run a little glue across one edge to make a notepad where we can remove the pages. I'm gonna place our little notepad or post-it notes right in the center. Cut, sand, and paint toothpicks to look like pencils. Place them in the taller cup to make a mini desk organizer. Up next, phone charger. Okay, Apple has a pretty decent wireless charging stand. Let's do that. Take the leftover craft sticks, draw a square on one and an oval on the other. Cut on the lines drawn, sand them smooth, use a large hole punch to punch out 2 circles. Cut one of the circles in half, stack and glue the 2 halves together, glue them onto 1/2 of the circle, glue them onto the square, glue the oval in the back at an angle. For the cord, I'm using black wire, so that means I'm painting my charger black. I have a small amount of silver wire, and I'm going to fold over the ends so the ends are doubled over. Then I turn the ends up so it looks like this. Take the black wire, loop it around the center, cut squares of paperboard, stack and glue the paperboard around the wire, encasing it on the inside. Sand the edges smooth. I cut the wire to about 8 inches. I don't think we'll need more than that. Glue the other end to the back of the phone stand, paint it, While waiting for that to dry, I'm just gonna add a little gold right here on our desk organizer. I like that better. This is now dry. I'm going to cover it with a layer of clear polish to make it shiny. This craft is done, but it just needs a little more time to dry. So we're gonna place it right here and start on the next project, which is pasta. We can use more of that yellow cardstock to make the pasta. Cut a long strip of yellow cardstock, and I'm cutting it kind of jagged. I want both ends of the strip to be jagged. These strips are about a little under 1/2 inch wide. Cut them into smaller pieces. We have jagged side, straight side, jagged side. Fold it in half with the jagged side on the top and bottom. Fold each side in half, going back. It makes kind of an M shape. Use the needle nose pliers to pinch it in the middle. Fan out the ends to make the bow tie pasta. We can add a little bit of glue right in the center where the two sides touch. Then hold it with the pliers to make miniature bow tie pasta out of paper. I'm guessing this is uncooked. If you want it to look cooked, I would go with a cream color rather than a yellow. We are going to need a place to store these. I have some leftover clear plastic from packaging. I cut a strip that is 1.5 inches wide. I use my ruler and X-Acto knife to score 1/4 inch. Then move it over and score it at a 1/2 inch line 4 times. Go ahead and cut all the way through on the last one to separate it from the excess. Bend it on the scored line so it makes a box. Secure it with tape. Take a scrap of plastic. Use the hot glue to draw a square. I'm gonna give it a second so it cools off just a little. Then place our little rectangular thing here straight down. My geometry isn't the best at the moment. Rectangular prism! That's what it's called. Trim off the excess at the bottom. Trace the top on foam board. Cut on the outside line. Cut a small square of craft foam and glue it in the center to make a lid. Put the bow tie pasta inside to make a miniature canister of pasta. I made a second container. I'm going to fill it with strips of paper to look like fettuccine. Finely cut more paper. Wrap them around a pencil to make an angel hair nest. Place a few in a canister, then put on the lid to make more pasta for the dollhouse. Next on the list is a lemon tree. I guess we're gonna need some lemons. I would love to use model magic for this, but I don't have any. I do, however, have some yellow shaping compound. It came from a toy. I think this was from Lost Kitties. It feels a lot like Play-Doh, so maybe we can make our lemons out of this. Take a small amount of the compound, knead it, roll it into a ball, roll it on the ends to make a lemon shape. I'm gonna put it on a pen. Then use another pen to kind of shape it at the end and add some texture. Now we just have to let them dry. I made 6, so hopefully they'll dry without too much cracking. While waiting, take a stick, cut it to the desired height. I want a few more branches on there, so I'm gonna glue a few more on. Glue it into a bottle cap. Take another lid, glue rocks in the bottom, then glue the other lid on top for some added height and weight. Cut a toilet paper roll, glue it to paperboard. I'm pretty generous with the hot glue. Place the bottle caps inside. This made the bottom of the tree pretty heavy, so we don't have to worry about it falling over. While waiting for the glue to dry, take an artificial leaf from another plant and cut smaller leaves for the tree. Before we glue the leaves on, I want to cover up some of that hot glue. Let's get a little brown paint and brush the glue to try to make it blend in a little bit more. Trim off the bottom, wrap it with yarn or thread. I'm using tan and white yarn to make a little pattern. Cut a circle of felt. Cut a line up the center. Add scraps of felt into the bottom. Then glue the neater one on top. You might not even have to glue it. I was able to just tuck mine in. Glue the leaves onto the branches. This takes a while, so you've been warned. Yeah, that took a minute. It's the next day and we are checking on our lemons. They haven't cracked, so that's good. I'm using some chalk pastels to make them a little brighter yellow and add a touch of green to the bottom. Okay, our lemons are looking pretty lemony. Seal them with a clear drying glue. Glue the lemons onto the branches to make a doll-sized lemon tree. That is perfect for the dollhouse. Up next, BandAids. We made a printable for the BandAids and I printed it on cardstock. We made 2 sizes, small and large. Cut out the printable box, making sure all the tabs are still attached. Now on the tabs that are on the bottom and on the top, I did cut away the outside lining, but I left the lines going around the main part of the box. Fold it on all of the lines. To get my lines really crisp, I'm going to use an X-Acto knife and very, very lightly trace the lines. You do not want to go through the cardstock, but you do want to make it a little easier to bend. Fold over and glue down the small tabs on the bottom. Tweezers totally help with this. Fold over the bottom tab and the side tab, and we're gonna glue those right into the box to make a tiny box that can open and close. We're gonna cut out the bandage printables. They are all on little rectangles and squares, so they are easy to cut out and store inside the box. We can even close it up and they're all inside. Love it. If you want to go a little further, take washi tape, toilet paper, and wax paper. Take a small piece of washi tape. I got this from the dollar store a while ago. Cut the corners round. Cut a small square of toilet paper. You only need this to be 1 ply. We must conserve. Place the toilet paper in the middle of the washi tape. Stick the washi tape onto wax paper. Cut around it to make a miniature band-aid that will really stick to the doll. Look at it from the other side. It looks like there's really a band-aid inside of a wrapper. Peel it off of the wax paper and place it on the doll. Like a real band-aid. Yep, this is mini-me covering up a pimple. The washi tape band-aids are going to have a pretty short lifespan. The more you use them, they're going to lose their stickiness. But it's really cool to get them in different colors. You can have a lot of fun with that. This printable will be available on our blog, myfroggystuff.blogspot.com. The small ones are good for 10 to 12 inch dolls like OMG and Barbie, and the larger ones are good for like American Girl and Smart Doll. Now we need hand sanitizer. Maybe we can make something like the canisters. So let's use some clear plastic. Cut a strip of plastic that is 5/8 of an inch. Turn it this way. Lightly score a line at 1/4 inch. Then a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and a little less than 1/4 inch. Let's go ahead and cut it to separate it from the excess. Bend in on all of the lines. Use tape to secure the end to make a little box. On a small piece of clear plastic, color with a washable marker. Mix in a little Mod Podge. Paint the inside of the plastic. Allow it to dry. Draw a rectangle of hot glue on clear plastic. I'm gonna color mine in. Push the box into the hot glue. Trim it. Repeat for the other side. Cut a small piece of a cotton swab. Cut a thin strip of paper from the printable. Oh yeah, we made a printable. Wrap the paper around the cotton swab. Use glue to secure the end. glue it onto the box, cut a tiny trapezoid of craft foam, glue it on top of the cotton swab, cut out a printable label, glue it to the front to make a bottle of hand sanitizer. Last but not least, in honor of Mermaid, a mermaid blanket. This is an oldie but goodie. We do have a video on YouTube for a life-size mermaid blanket. For our dolls, just take a piece of paper, fold it in half, place the doll on the fold, and draw an oversized mermaid tail. Cut it out. I have this pretty purple fleece from an old blanket that is no longer in use. Lay it down so there are 2 layers. Open the pattern, place it on top, trace around it, remove the pattern, cut around it. I left a pretty wide border around the edge because fleece has a tendency to move for me. Use pins to hold the 2 layers together. I'm going to use my sewing machine to sew on the line, going all the way around, then stop before I get to the end. I'm using a straight stitch, and remember, this can be sewn by hand. I left this side open so I can fold over and hem the top. I am using a zigzag stitch, then fold it over, match up the edges, and sew the rest of the way. Trim off the excess. Now we can really see the shape of the tail, so we're gonna just flip it inside out to see our shiny mermaid tail fleece blanket to keep the dolls nice and cozy. Let's check back on that phone charger. It is completely dry now and it's super shiny. We can bend the cord however we like, and we can actually put the plug into a printable outlet on a foam wall. Place one of our iPhones on it, and it's charging, and it's a phone stand. So cool. Okay, so we made paper clips, a phone charger, pasta, BandAids, hand sanitizer, a lemon tree, and a mermaid tail blanket. That is 7 random crafts for miniature fun. Thank you for joining us for some random crafting. Let us know what you would like to see in the comments down below. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell and follow us on Instagram at MyFroggyStuff and the Frog Vlog. And we will see you next time. Bye!
Spending time reminiscing of what it used to be.